Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. It's a great day to go camping, and I am so glad to be back behind the microphone again. Hello, everybody. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and this is the Happy Camper Radio Show. It's episode 164, and on the program today, we're going to be talking about camp dinnerware versus paper plates. Are you the type of person that brings everything to camp with you, just like me? Or are you the type of a person where you want to lighten the load a little bit and you want to use strictly disposable products, paper plates, disposable silverware, plastic cups, paper cups, whatever the case may be? Is one way better than the other? We're going to take a look at the pros and cons of each on today's edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. So stick around. It's a great episode, and I know you're going to enjoy it. You can get in touch with us here at the Happy Camper Radio Show anytime by picking up the phone and calling 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to www.happycamperradio.com. You'll find all of our social media icons right there on the homepage on the right-hand side. You click on any one of them, and you'll connect right up with us. And that reminds me, too, that when you sign up with us on social media, we give you a shout-out on the program. Yes, and we've got some fine folks who signed up with us recently here on social media, and we want to take a moment to recognize them. First of all, to Stephen Espinosa of Nocana, Texas, Bert Hamilton, Thomas Johnson, Malene DeCura, they like us on Facebook. To the fine folks over at BC Supply and Outdoors, Owen Yanahaga, I hope I pronounced that right, of Fremont, California, Kitty Clemens, Chuck Hutchinson of Emas, Pennsylvania, Greg M. Thompson of Orlando, Florida, Lisa Boneso, Rent Caravan in New Zealand, and finally, to Valencia Chi Parker of Ocklawaha, Florida. They're following us on Twitter. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Glad to have you on board here. And more importantly, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. The Happy Camper Radio Show, as you know, can be heard all around the world by great listeners just like yourself. You can find us in the iTunes Store on Podbean, Myra Guide, Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iHeartRadio, and now on Google Play Music. A wide selection of choices there. Of course, you can always log on to our website, happycamperradio.com, and you can check out any one of our previous episodes right there on the homepage. In the upper right-hand corner of the toolbar, click on Podcast Episodes. You'll find them all right there. Okay, folks, let me ask you this. Have you survived the flu season? I want to say I have. Every year, I make it a point when I get my annual physical, because I'm getting up there in my ages, and I do take my health pretty seriously for the most part. I always make sure that I take advantage of my free flu shot. And I'm pretty good about fighting the flu. The common cold, on the other hand, that's another matter. A couple weeks ago, I come down with the worst cold imaginable, and I think I caught it from the kid at church. I'm not going to pass blame because I don't know, but I know he was down sick, and the next day, I could feel it coming on, and the day after that, it hit me with vengeance. And I was out for the longest time. If you have ever fought the common cold, or even the flu for that matter, you know and I know the only way of getting over that is staying home, getting some rest, drinking the fluids, taking your medication, and just relaxing. You've got to let it run its course. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had been here in the studio just dying to throw the microphone switch and get on the radio here and just talk about camping. I was all up in arms. I was ready to go, but I just didn't have the voice for it. But it's good to be back here again. I feel a whole lot better. I am ready to go camping. The camping season is really in full swing as far as I'm concerned. It's a little cool on the outside, maybe not for everybody, But for a person like myself, yes, I enjoy the cool temperatures and I go prepared. No matter what time of the season it is, no matter what time of the year, when I go camping, I always make sure that I have everything I need packed away and ready to go. I leave nothing behind. I come prepared in all cases. If you've known me as long as you have, if you've been a long-time listener of the program, I talk about everything that relates to camping. And I've camped in the summer, I've camped in the spring, in the fall, in the winter. I've done it all, and I have fun doing it. Maybe you are not a fall and wintertime camper like I am. You got to give it a try sometime. I think you'll really enjoy it. But anyway, today on the program, here's what I want to talk about. Camp dinnerware versus paper plates. I have done both, and I can tell you there really is no right way and wrong way here, folks. However you want to do it. If you're a first-time camper, like I was at one time, I remember I had gone out and I had bought all kind of camping equipment. If I saw it, I laid my eyes on it, and I knew I could afford it, I bought it. And I walked up and down those aisles, and when I saw some of the camp dinnerware that I felt that I could use for my camping trip, I went ahead and bought it. That was many, many years ago. The last time I recall going on a major shopping spree for camping equipment was back in 1996, and I'll be talking about that here a little later on the program and some of the things that I did purchase. And yes, camp dinnerware was included in those purchases. You know, there's so many choices available out there. You can buy most of your camping equipment, including your camp dinnerware, at your local department store in the camping supply section. Very plain and simple. Fortunately, I'm blessed. I've got a couple of those stores about less than 5 miles here from the house. I could spend the entire day in that store just browsing around and fighting like crazy to keep the credit card in my pocket. But I love browsing those stores, and you can buy a wide variety of camping equipment. You know, you're not going to want to buy it all, although, you know, sometimes you'll have the urge to do that. But, you know, if you have something that you're interested in buying that you feel will fit right in to your camping supply inventory, then I say go for it. A lot of the broader selections can be found in these specialty stores. Your campware, or called camp dinnerware, if pieced together properly, you can put together a really elaborate setup. A lot of purchases are made individually. This does not only include your plates and your cups and your saucers, if you bring those along too. It also includes your pots and pans, your lids, your frying pans, your skillets. You're going to need that whether you use paper plates or not. You got to have some cooking utensils to bring along with you. Some people actually reach under the counter at home and grab some of these items and take them along with them when they go camping. Nothing wrong with that, but I personally like to keep all of my camping supplies together and use them strictly for camping. Dedicated campers may decide to keep all the camping-related items in a single box so they're ready and available anytime they want to go camping. Now, since camping is a normal way of life for some of these people, you can understand why they do that. That's just the way I do it. I have a lot of these big, monstrous Tupperware containers. I think I carry about 6 of them with me. And if you look on Facebook, I think you're going to see the back of my pickup truck loaded with all my camping supplies that I take with me on a camping trip. It fills up the back of an 8-foot pickup truck. Really, it does, folks. But camping is about relaxing and forgetting the way of life as you normally live it. So I try to bring as little memories from home as I can when I go camping. I don't want to bring dinner plates out of the kitchen cupboard. I don't want to bring silverware out of the drawer from my kitchen. I want to have everything camp related so I can forget about that life for a moment, even just for a short period of time, and keep everything camp related. If you're going out to buy items for cooking and for eating, some of those purchases may include your dinner plates, your cups, your drinking glasses, metal or plastic silverware, soups and salad bowls, And do you bring Tupperware products with you? I do. If you're I don't want to call myself a master chef, but I do like spending time in the camp kitchen. And if I have people in my party, one thing that I am not very good at is kind of figuring out how many mouths to feed and is anybody going to want seconds or thirds. Usually what I do is I go way overboard and I have more extra food than I really need. I don't want to share it with the animals. Of course, if one came up there, I talk about don't feed the animals, but if you're an animal lover like me and you've got a big heart, how can you look in the sad eyes and say, "Oh my heavens"? Now, you really shouldn't do that, but I do oftentimes make more than people can really hold. So if I'm cooking a big dinner, chances are I'm going to have something left over, and I'm going to need those Tupperware products for those leftover items, not to mention the cooler space, and I've got a pretty big cooler for that purpose as well. Let me tell you how I did it back in 1996. That is the year that I went on a big spending spree in several camping stores here in the metro Atlanta area. I bought a lot of new camping gear for the fall of 1996. I had a big camping trip coming up, and I wanted to make sure that I had everything that I needed. I had some basic gear before then, but it really went into full swing in 1996. The new gear that I bought did not include cookware and dinnerware. I did purchase some new pots and pans, and I also brought a few items from home. This is one thing that you may want to keep in mind if you have a household and you've got some items in your kitchen that is gradually getting worn out. I don't want to say totally wore out, but if you still have usable pots and pans and you're going to be replacing those items in your kitchen, why not use those for your camping trips? I do. I do not throw away good, usable products. Some people will take them to Goodwill or Salvation Army. That's okay, too. But if you have some usable items that you could use when you go camping, why not put them in there with your supplies so you'll have them for your next camping trip? I have plenty of pots and pans available, and I'm prepared to cook just about any size meal. Now, I did buy, I did buy a coffee pot. In fact, I think this was all included in one big major purchase in 96 when I bought some camp dinnerware. It included a coffee pot, 4 metal plates, 4 metal coffee cups, and I think there was something else in that box. It was all part of a package. I don't carry those items with me anymore, even though I still have them to this very day. I'm a pack rat when it comes to camping gear. I don't separate myself with anything. But I really got my money's worth out of them, and I used them over quite a few years. And if you looked at them today, they're just as new as they were when I broke them out of the box. Additionally, I also purchased 4 large plastic drinking cups. I'm talking like the 16 to 24 ounce, the kind like you would buy in if you were going in to get a soft drink at a convenience store. Those big drink cups. Yeah, that's the kind of drinking cups I have with me when I go camping. A lot of folks have the 8 ounce that they carry. That's okay too, but I do not like having to get up and refill my cup. I use those big plastic drinking cups. I got some plastic cereal bowls as well. And the old silverware that I had at home that we were about to dispose of, I went ahead and added that to my camping collection as well. I have a pocket knife on my keychain. I used that to cut steak back in those days. The dishes were washed and always put away after every meal. I've never been able to keep it simple. Ever since the beginning, I've hauled in more stuff to camp than I will ever use. And to this very day, that's the way I conduct business. That's the way I am when I go camping. Some people will look at me and say, "Why are you bringing all that stuff?" Well, that's just the way it is. That's the way it works for me. And granted, a lot of this stuff I'm going to come home with, and I won't even break it out for any reason whatsoever. It's been my way of life for many, many years. I found it brings out the best in me when I go camping. You remember this. It's always important to have more than enough than not enough. The last thing you want to do when you go camping, the very last thing, is to break away from your campsite, to go shopping. Some people do it. It's all about being prepared. So let's ask ourselves, what's better, metal or plastic campware or paper plates? Again, like I say, there's really no wrong way or right way. It's a matter of personal preference. Today, of course, I do things a whole lot different. You're still going to need to bring in your pots and pans for cooking. For me, that also includes a very large stock pot. And I'm going to carry that with me whether I use it or not. I love cooking spaghetti dinners. It's usually the first meal on the menu, first day at camp. If I have a camping party that I have with me, out comes that stock pot, and in goes the boiling water, and I'm cooking up a spaghetti dinner. You got to look at how many people you have in your camping party. You're going to have plenty of hungry mouths to feed. And chances are people are going to be wanting to come back to the camp kitchen for seconds or thirds. But here's one thing you've got to keep in mind, too. If you are the type of person who brings the metal plates, the metal cups, and the plastic reusable forks, knives, and spoons with you, you're going to have somebody assigned to KP duty, kitchen patrol. Do you remember what it was like growing up and your parents told you you had to do your chores, and after dinner, it was your time to clean the kitchen. It was your time to do the dishes. I hated that. I'm sure you did too. Of course, I enjoy washing dishes at camp more than I would growing up as a kid and having to wash them at home in the kitchen. But some people don't mind doing that. To me, as you get older, I find it to be a cause for more work. And I don't want to do more work than I really have to do. Dishes are going to need to be washed regardless. You're still going to have those pots and pans to clean. The spatulas, the big spoons, and just about anything else that you put to use that's not disposable. They're going to have to be washed, dried, and put away. Now, some household duties will follow us to camp, like I say, but I enjoy camping and I enjoy any household chores at camp, not the same as I would as if I was growing up in a household with 4 or 5 brothers or sisters. Anywhere you go, you're still going to have soapy water and rinse water. You're going to require that. I still have the same plastic tubs that I bought in 1996. You've seen them before. They're about the size of a kitchen sink. You got your 2 bins right there, and I got them side by side. You got your soapy water in one. You've got your rinse water in the other. You're going to have your scrub pads, your dishcloths, on all that stuff on hand. Am I getting through to you on some of this stuff? Are you starting to think of some things that you may not have in your camping supply inventory? Yes, there was a time that I was not totally prepared. It's a learning lesson. It's something you're going to have to think about over and over. What do I have? What do I need? And what do I need to keep on hand so I don't have to be running out anytime I go camping and I can take full advantage of this camping trip? There are must-haves for any camping trip, and those are some of them. You're going to need your dish soap. You're going to need your cleaning cloths. You're going to need those scrubbing pads. It's all part of the camping environment. Never be in short supply of fresh water either. I'm going to be doing an episode on that not too far down the road here. You might be surprised to know just how much potable water I bring to a camping trip just for myself. And that's when I'm not camping, let's say, in an environment where, I have a lot of campers around me, say a public or private campground. I'm just out there in the wilderness. Yeah, you're going to require that potable water, and I do carry a lot of it with me. Today, I'm all about paper plates, Dixie cups, disposable knives, forks, and spoons. I don't prefer more dishes than absolutely necessary. Paper products do not take away, for me anyway, the feeling of camping. In fact, it enhances the camping experience. Paper products relate to picnicking, and picnicking, of course, relates to camping. Whatever works best for you is the way you should do it. Paper plates, you got to make sure you have plenty on hand. Make sure that you have plenty for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Multiply it by the number of people that you have in your camping party, and then toss in some extras, because you always want to have some extras on hand for maybe snacking or, hungry campers who have room for seconds, or maybe get a little hungry in between meals. You've got to have some extras on hand. I recommend the heavy-duty type. You know which ones I'm talking about. They cost a little bit more, but they're going to support your food. If you try to go the cheap route, and some of us tend to do that, when you get up there to the camping kitchen and you load up your plate with those hot meals and you tend to overload it, a lot of that food on those cheap paper plates are going to hit the ground. And the food's no good there, except for maybe the squirrels and the raccoons. You can also purchase paper plate holders. But, you got to keep in mind, if you do that, that's more things for you to pack away. Be sure to have plenty of disposable drinking glasses on hand. This is so important, especially in the spring and summer months. You will need to make sure everybody stays hydrated. So make sure you have plenty of liquids on hand. Make sure you have plenty of drinking water on hand. If you use that drinking water to make Kool-Aid, kids love Kool-Aid. Keep plenty of ice on hand, too. You may want to bring along a marking pen so everybody can write their names on their Dixie cups. They come in very handy. They can be reused. One cup, for me, will last an entire camping trip. I bought a monstrous supply of Dixie cups 5 years ago, and I still have some left. That one drinking cup will last me the entire trip, if I'm not sitting there with a 16 or 24-ounce cup, of course. You can also use styrofoam cups if you prefer, but I kind of look at styrofoam as not good for the environment. But some people will see them in the aisle when they go shopping for their camping supplies, for their food or what have you. And you're a little short on cups. You may want to use some styrofoam cups. That's okay too. That's a personal preference. I just prefer to use the Dixie cups. And like I say, they've lasted me for ages. Plastic utensils. Make sure you have plenty to last the trip, just like your paper plates. Some carry a complete set. You can buy your packages of forks, knives, and spoons individually, but I prefer getting the complete set, and if I have any left over, I can pack them away for the next trip. Disposable utensils, they can go quickly, so inventory them carefully. Just like your paper plates, make sure you have enough. A lot of times, most people are not going to reuse the same disposable fork and spoon that they had at dinner time. They're going to throw it away. So make sure you have plenty of extras and don't run out. I keep mine separated in gallon-size Ziploc bags. If you keep them in the box that you purchased them in, it's going to take up more space in your camping supply inventory. So I prefer to go ahead and wrap them up in those gallon-size Ziploc bags. And I can easily determine which is in each anytime we sit down for dinner. Many of these items, like I say, can be purchased at campground convenience stores if you happen to run out and you need some more. But I try not to rely on the little convenience store. I like to make sure that I have everything that I need right there on the spot so I don't have to worry about running out later on. And that includes your napkins and paper towels. You keep adding to the list here, okay? But these are important things that you are going to require when you go camping. You want to make sure you don't run out of anything. Always dispose of your paper plates and other disposables as need to be disposed of. Campgrounds typically have plenty of trash receptacles around. They're not too difficult to locate. I would also keep a cheap kitchen-size roll of garbage bags on hand. You can usually get them for $1 at Walmart. You don't have to get the heavy-duty kind. I mean, I have a little roll that I've probably had there for about 3 years that I keep with me, and that's where I put all of my disposable items. And even if I'm not camping in a public or private campground, what I carry in, I carry out, and you should do the same. But that little plastic garbage bag will come in handy, especially if your trash receptacle is maybe 15 or 20 yards down the road. You don't want to have to be running down there all the time. Just keep that little garbage bag handy next to your picnic table, and as it fills up, just go ahead and dispose of it. You want to constantly police your campsite and keep it clean. You only want to leave behind footprints. So very important. Avoid placing disposable paper and plastic products on the campfire. I know a lot of people do this, and I've done it before. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. It's not healthy for the environment. So, as I got older, I started to realize, no, it's even though, I can do it this way, I just prefer doing it the proper way. Remnants from paper products, like if you put them on the fire, they can escape like embers. And monitor your campground and your campsite very, very carefully, and always keep some of that extra water on hand. Wilderness camping, be sure you haul it out each and every time. Again, there's really no right way or wrong way of doing things when it comes to camping. If you prefer the metal plates and the metal cups and the plastic or metal spoons, you can go that route. But if you want to go the paper plate route and disposable camp product route, you can do that too. Whatever works for you, whatever gives you the feel of camping, that's the way you want to do it. But just keep in mind, the more metal campware and silverware you bring into camp, the more work you're going to have to do. But if it's work you enjoy, if it's camping work you enjoy, nothing wrong with that at all. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Yep. This week, I'm going to take you to my home state of Georgia at Cotton Hill. It's part of the Walter F. George Lake, run by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It's a campground that's open all year round, the type of campgrounds I really enjoy. Cotton Hill Campground is situated on the shores of Walter F. George Lake on the Georgia-Alabama border. The lake is a great place to get away for a week, a weekend, or even just an afternoon. You can enjoy boating, swimming, fishing, and camping especially. They're all popular activities on Walter F. George Lake. The Walter F. George Lake stretches 85 miles up the Chattahoochee River. Visitors come to relax and play among the natural beauty of the area. The Chattahoochee River lakes are an angler's paradise. Are you a fisherman? Are you an angler? Bring your rod and reel. If you're not a resident of Georgia, get your out-of-state fishing license and take advantage of some of the great fishing opportunities that the Chattahoochee River Lakes has to offer. Largemouth bass, white bass, hybrid crappie, channel fish, and bream can be found. The lake's 640 miles of shoreline offer many exciting locations for bank fishing and a boat ramp conveniently located nearby. The lake and its surrounding forest provide a great locale for hiking and observation of wildlife. Check out a lot of their recreational activities and amenities right there on their website. You can't go wrong with this, folks. Also, something else I want to point out too, the campground offers 91 sites with electric and water and 10 primitive sites with electric and group water. The facility no longer has sewer hookups, so if you're bringing an RV, keep that in mind. Some of the amenities do include flush toilets, showers, drinking water, laundry facilities, a dump station, a boat ramp, and a fish cleaning station. Younger campers will love the park's 2 playgrounds. A group picnic shelter is available on a first-come, first-served basis. Check it all out on their website. A couple things to know before you go. Remember, the gates close from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. daily. You definitely don't want to have a lot of people driving in and out of the campground during those hours. So if you get in there at the campground by 10 o'clock, you're good to go. Otherwise, the gates are going to remain closed until 7 a.m. Also, remember, folks, don't move firewood. Protect your forest from those tree-killing insects by purchasing your firewood locally and burning it on site. For more information, visit don'tmovefirewood.org or click on the site on our website at happycamperradio.com. Great place to go camping if you're into year-round camping and you live in the area of Georgia and Alabama. Consider Cotton Hill Campground. It's our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, I want you to get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. And make sure you include a link to the campground website. Well, folks, that's about all the time I have for this edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. As always, it's a pleasure sitting down behind the microphone or even sitting next to the campfire and having a great conversation about anything in the world of camping. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And no question about it, my friends, I'm going to do my absolute best to make a happy camper out of you. Talk to you again real soon. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.